In this lecture, I'm going to show you how to install Kali Linux as a virtual machine inside Windows. Skip this lecture if you're running Apple Mac OS or Linux, as I will cover that in the next lectures. Now, I already have it downloaded in here, and as you can see, the file has a .7z extension. This is an archive that contains the actual virtual image of Kali. We did that to compress its size so that it doesn't take a long time to download. So now that we have it downloaded, we're going to need to install a program that can uncompress 7-zip archives and show us the contents. To do that, we're going to go to Chrome, and you want to go to 7-zip.org. I will include that in the resources of this lecture. And you want to download the version that is compatible with your operating system. I have a 64-bit operating system, so I'm downloading the 64-bit. One click in here will download it for us. And once the download is complete, we can simply click on it to install it, give it permissions, and click on install. Once the install is complete, we're going to click on close. And we're going to go back on our downloads directory. And right now, because we installed 7-zip, this program, we're going to be able to uncompress this archive and see the contents inside it and see the virtual image inside it. So I'm going to right click. And as you can see, I have an entry called 7-zip now. And if I hover over it and click on extract here, it will uncompress that image and reveal its contents. And perfect, as you can see now, we have a new directory, and you can see the extension now is .vmware VM. So as mentioned in the previous lecture, VMware is the software that we're going to use to run different operating systems as virtual machines. And this file right here is designed to run inside VMware as a virtual machine. So in order to run it, we're going to have to go ahead and install VMware. Now, again, I'm going to include the link in the resources. I have it opened in here, and all you have to do is click on the download for Windows. Give it some time to download. Perfect. Now the download is complete. We can view it in our downloads, or we can simply just click on it here to run it. Give it permissions. And similar to installing any software on Windows, you really don't need to do much. We're simply just going to click on next, accept the agreement, next, and let it install. The installation is complete. We're going to click on finish. And now we should be able to run this virtual machine file that we downloaded, the .vmware VM file, using VMware Workstation Player. So we're going to double click it to start it. And I'm going to minimize this. We're going to click on Open Virtual Machine in here, or you can go on the player, File, and Open. We're going to navigate to the location where we downloaded the virtual image of Kali in my downloads. And as you can see, we have it in here. Keep in mind, it's the .vmware VM file. So it ends with .vmware VM. We're going to click on it. We're going to click on Open. And inside it, we have another file, the only one file that we can select. We're going to select it and click on Open. And if you get no errors, as you can see in here in my case, that's it. The machine is now installed and ready to be used. Now, before running it, I'm going to click on Edit Virtual Machine Settings, or right click and Settings, just to give you an idea of what the settings look like so you feel more comfortable with VMware. Because modifying virtual machine settings is always the same regardless of what type of virtual machine it is. So as you can see in this window, first of all, we can modify the amount of memory that the virtual machine has. And this machine is set to 2 GB of memory by default. That is enough, but you can increase it up or down using this slider. You can also modify the amount of processors that the machine has. So as you can see, this one has 2 processors assigned to it. That is plenty. It's enough, as you'll see, but you can give it more if you want to give it more. Another really important option is the network adapter. And as you can see, this is set to NAT. And this setting will basically create a virtual network where my host machine is going to be the router for this network, and then all the virtual machines are going to be clients connected to this network. So they're going to get internet connection from my host machine. And at the same time, all of my virtual machines will be connected to the same virtual network. This is very handy because my virtual machines will be able to communicate with each other, and therefore will be able to use the Kali machine to hack into the others, will be able to test network attacks, and do much more. So this setting will first allow my virtual machines to have internet connection, and it will also allow them to communicate with each other through this virtual NAT network. Now this virtual network will rely on the connection of your host computer. So it will not need any extra interfaces, it will not need any extra adapters, and as far as the virtual machines are concerned, they are connected to an Ethernet network, but in reality, they are connected through the host machine. You can also modify the display settings in here if you have a bigger screen or a smaller screen. And I usually like to tick this box in here, the accelerate 3D graphics. So we're going to make sure that it is ticked. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to click on OK. And like I said, you actually don't need to modify any of these settings. I just wanted to show you what kind of settings we can set for these virtual machines. But once you're ready to run the virtual machine, we're just going to click on the green play button to start it. Now I'm going to click on inside and click enter to start Kali. And I know it's starting very small. This is because I have a high resolution screen. It's probably going to start in the normal size for you. I'm just going to zoom in for you. And perfect, we have the login screen here for Kali. So the username is ROOT and the password is TOOR, the reverse. We're going to hit enter. And perfect, as you can see now we are running this Linux operating system as a virtual machine inside my Windows operating system in here. And we're going to use this Linux operating system for hacking as we go through the course. Now before we wrap it up, I want to go into full screen. So we're going to click on the player and we're going to click on full screen. And as you can see, this will automatically go in full screen. So again, I'm still using Kali within my host operating system, which is Windows. And in most cases, Kali will look normal. But as you can see, in my case, the icons are very small and the text here on the top is very small. And that's because I have a 4K display. So we're going to need to manually modify the display settings. And to do that, we're going to right click, go to settings, click on display in here from the left, and we're gonna set the scale to 200. I'm gonna click on apply. We're gonna keep the changes and perfect. Now Kali looks normal for me. You don't have to do this if Kali looked normal from the start. Only if you have a high resolution screen, you might have to do this. Now I know this operating system might look a little bit confusing and scary, but don't worry about it at all. I will teach you how to use it step by step as we go through the course. If you face any issues while installing Kali, check out the featured questions first, and if you don't see your answer, feel free to ask us in the Q&A or in the forums, and we will respond to you within a maximum of 15 hours.